Ladies and gentlemen, when they ignore you, don't chase your SY. We've all been there investing time, energy, and hope into someone who seems indifferent. It feels personal, like a wound to your very sense of self. But let me tell you something vital. When someone ignores you, chasing after them is the furthest thing from reclaiming your worth. First, self-worth is not negotiable. No one else gets to dictate your value. Chasing someone who ignores you is like begging for loose change when you already hold a treasure chest within. It's easy to think, if I just try harder, they'll see me, hear me, choose me. But your worth isn't up for auction, it's an inherent truth. Second, remember this rejection is redirection. When someone doesn't reciprocate your energy, it's not about you being unworthy, it's about misalignment. The universe has a way of clearing out what isn't meant for us so we can make space for what is. Every door that closes points you toward a path that better suits your heart. Self-worth is the cornerstone of how we navigate life. It's not something we earn, bargain for, or wait for others to grant us. It is inherent, built into the very fabric of who we are. Yet in moments when we feel ignored or overlooked, it's easy to question that worth. Why didn't they respond? Why don't they see me? What did I do wrong? These questions can quickly spiral into self-doubt, making us believe our value depends on someone else's recognition. But here's the truth: self-worth is non-negotiable. When you chase after someone who ignores you, you're inadvertently saying, I need your attention to feel whole. You hand over the keys to your confidence, letting someone else decide your value. This isn't just unfair to you, it's dangerous. Because if your sense of worth is tied to someone else's actions, it will always be at risk. Your worth is not measured by how many people validate you, how many calls or texts you get, or how someone treats you in a fleeting moment. It's rooted in your essence, your kindness, resilience, talents, and the unique light you bring to the world. No one else gets to put a price tag on that. But why is it so tempting to chase when we feel ignored? It often stems from a deeper fear of rejection. Being ignored can feel like a blow to the ego, an attack on our identity. We think, if they just give me one more chance, I can prove my value. But that's a trap. Seeking external validation creates a cycle where your worth fluctuates based on someone else's whims. Choosing not to chase is an act of self-respect. It's a statement that says, I know my value, and I refuse to beg for what should come freely. When you stand in that confidence, you set boundaries not just for others, but for yourself. You remind yourself that your time and energy are too precious to waste on someone who doesn't recognize your brilliance. Think of it this way: your worth is like a diamond. Its value doesn't change whether it's admired in a jewelry case or buried underground. It remains priceless, regardless of whether someone acknowledges its presence. Similarly, your self-worth remains intact, whether or not someone sees it. Choosing to honor your self-worth isn't just about how you respond to others, it's about how you treat yourself. Do you speak to yourself with kindness? Do you prioritize your needs, goals, and dreams? Do you surround yourself with people who uplift and value you? These actions reinforce the truth that your worth isn't contingent on anyone else. So when someone ignores you, resist the urge to chase. Instead, pause and remind yourself of this: you are whole, worthy, and enough, exactly as you are. Your value isn't a reflection of someone else's attention. It's a reflection of the infinite potential within you. Rejection. The very word stings, doesn't it? It's a feeling we've all faced, whether in relationships, careers, friendships, or personal pursuits. When someone turns us away, we often internalize it as failure, as if it's a verdict on our value. But what if rejection wasn't the end of the story? What if, instead of being a dead end, it was a detour, an unexpected nudge towards something better? That's the transformative power of understanding rejection as redirection. Rejection, at its core, is not about your worth, it's about misalignment. When someone doesn't reciprocate your energy, attention, or affection, it's easy to take it personally. We tell ourselves stories: I'm not good enough, I'll never be chosen, I'll never succeed. But those stories aren't true, they're fear talking. Rejection doesn't mean you lack value, it simply means that the path you're on isn't the one meant for you. Imagine standing at a crossroads. You're eager to take one specific path, but a roadblock stops you. Frustrated, you wonder why you can't go through. Yet, unknown to you, that road leads to a dead end, while another path nearby wins toward breathtaking opportunities you never even considered. Rejection is often that roadblock. It's a way of steering you away from something that isn't meant for you, even if you can't see it yet. Think back to moments in your life when you faced rejection. At the time, it probably felt devastating. Maybe it was a relationship that didn't work out, a job you didn't get, or a friendship that drifted apart. But now, looking back, can you see how those experiences shaped you? How they opened doors to better opportunities, stronger relationships, or deeper self-awareness? Rejection doesn't just redirect your path, it refines your purpose. One of the most powerful truths about rejection is that it creates space. When something or someone leaves your life, it's tempting to cling to the emptiness, fearing you'll never fill the void. But that space is a gift. It's an invitation to reassess, to grow, and to attract what truly aligns with your values and desires. You can't welcome new opportunities if your hands are full of what doesn't serve you. Rejection also teaches us resilience. It forces us to confront discomfort and uncertainty, building emotional muscles we might not have developed otherwise. Each time you face rejection and choose to move forward, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you thought. That strength becomes the foundation for future success. It's important to remember that rejection often says more about the other person or situation than it does about you. When someone rejects you, it reflects their perspective, priorities, and capacity, not your worth. Maybe they aren't ready for what you offer. Maybe their journey simply doesn't align with yours. That's okay. You don't need everyone to understand your value. You just need to find the right people and opportunities that do. So how do we embrace rejection as redirection in the moment? When the sting is fresh and the future feels uncertain, start by shifting your mindset. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Trust that every rejection is a step toward clarity, even if the bigger picture isn't clear yet. Next, focus on gratitude. Yes, gratitude even for the rejection. Thank the situation for guiding you away from what wasn't right, even if it's painful now. Gratitude helps you shift from a place of loss to a place of possibility. Lastly, keep moving forward. Don't let rejection paralyze you. Each no brings you closer to the yes that's waiting. The only way to find that yes is to stay open, keep trying, and trust the journey. Rejection isn't the end, it's a redirection, a rerouting of your life towards something richer, more meaningful, and more aligned with who you are. Trust the process, trust yourself, and know that every detour is leading you exactly where you're meant to be. At the heart of every fulfilling relationship, whether it's a friendship, a romantic partnership, or a collaboration, lies one essential ingredient: mutuality. Authentic connections thrive when both people invest equally in the relationship, where the giving and receiving of time, energy, and respect are in balance. Without mutuality, relationships become imbalanced and one-sided, leaving one person drained and the other distant. Mutuality isn't about keeping score or ensuring everything is perfectly equal. It's about shared effort, respect, and value. It's about both people feeling seen, heard, and appreciated. When you chase someone who isn't reciprocating, you create a dynamic that's inherently out of balance. The connection becomes about pursuit rather than partnership, and authentic relationships can't thrive in that space. Think of mutuality as the foundation of a house. Without a strong, balanced base, the house might stand for a while, but over time, it will crumble under pressure. Relationships without mutuality face a similar fate. One person can only carry the weight of the connection for so long before they begin to feel unappreciated and emotionally exhausted. Why is mutuality so critical for authenticity? Because authentic relationships are rooted in honesty and vulnerability. They require both people to show up fully as themselves without pretense or masks. When you're the only one putting in effort, it's impossible to build something real. You end up chasing a connection that's based on your hopes and expectations rather than the shared reality of two people willing to meet each other halfway. When mutuality is missing, it often leads to feelings of resentment, insecurity, and self-doubt. You may start questioning your own worth or wondering why the other person isn't matching your effort. But here's an important truth: it's not your responsibility to convince someone to value you. If they don't see your worth or aren't willing to reciprocate your energy, the issue isn't with you, it's with the dynamic. Authentic connections also require mutual respect for boundaries. When one person is constantly chasing, they may be crossing boundaries in their attempt to gain attention or affection. On the other hand, the person being chased might be ignoring boundaries by passively allowing the imbalance to continue. True mutuality means both people respect and honor each other's time, energy, and emotional needs. So how can we foster mutuality in our relationships? It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to the dynamics in your connections. Are you always the one initiating conversations or plans? Do you feel like you're giving more than you're receiving? These imbalances are red flags that mutuality might be missing. Next, communicate openly. Authentic relationships are built on honest dialogue. If you feel the connection is one-sided, express your feelings in a non-confrontational way. For example, you might say, I value our relationship, but I've noticed I'm often the one reaching out. I'd love for our connection to feel more balanced. This opens the door for a deeper conversation and allows the other person to reflect on their level of investment. But perhaps the most important step is this: be willing to walk away if mutuality isn't possible. It's not easy to let go of a connection you've invested in, but holding on to a one-sided relationship only drains your energy and prevents you from finding authentic connections elsewhere. Walking away isn't about giving up, it's about honoring your own worth and creating space for relationships that are truly reciprocal. Remember, mutuality isn't just about effort, it's about shared values, respect, and a genuine desire to connect. It's about two people who are equally committed to nurturing the relationship, supporting each other's growth, and showing up fully. When mutuality is present, relationships feel lighter, stronger, and more fulfilling. Authentic connections require mutuality because they're not about one person carrying the load, they're about two people walking the journey together. So honor yourself enough to seek relationships where your energy is met with equal enthusiasm, where your kindness is reciprocated, and where your authenticity is matched by theirs. True connections don't require chasing, they happen when both people meet in the middle, ready to build something real. Your energy is one of your most precious resources. It's not infinite, and it's not something you can afford to give away freely to every situation or person that demands it. Yet we often forget this. We pour ourselves into relationships, projects, and pursuits that don't reciprocate or nurture us, leaving us drained, disillusioned, and disconnected from our true selves. Recognizing that your energy is sacred means learning to be intentional about where and with whom you invest it. When you chase after someone who isn't meeting you halfway, you deplete your emotional reserves. The act of pursuing, of trying to win someone's attention or affection, requires effort, mental, emotional, and even physical. Over time, this can leave you feeling exhausted, undervalued, and unseen. You start to wonder why you feel so tired, not realizing it's because you've been funneling your energy into a connection that doesn't sustain you. Your energy is the driving force behind everything you do. It fuels your passion, sustains your relationships, and helps you navigate challenges. When you give it away to people or situations that don't honor it, you diminish your capacity to show up fully for yourself and for the things that truly matter. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's essential. It allows you to preserve your strength, creativity, and emotional well-being so you can thrive in all aspects of your life. One of the biggest challenges to recognizing the sacredness of your energy is societal conditioning. We're often taught that effort equals worth, that if we try hard enough, we'll eventually win people over. But this mindset is flawed. Your worth isn't determined by how much you give to others, nor is it proven by how much effort you expend chasing what doesn't align with you. True connections, whether personal or professional, don't require you to deplete yourself to prove your value. Boundaries play a critical role in protecting your energy. Setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out, it's about creating space for the things that nourish you. It's about recognizing when a situation or relationship isn't serving you and having the courage to step back. Boundaries aren't walls, they're guidelines that help you prioritize your well-being and maintain the balance you need to thrive. Being mindful of your energy also requires self-awareness. Take the time to reflect on where your energy is going. Are you investing it in relationships and activities that uplift you, or are you expending it on things that drain you? Pay attention to how you feel after interactions with certain people or after engaging in certain activities. Your emotions are a powerful barometer for understanding whether your energy is being honored or depleted. It's also important to understand that not everyone will value your energy the way you do. Some people might take it for granted, exploit it, or fail to reciprocate. This doesn't mean you should stop giving, it means you should be discerning about where you give. The right people the right opportunities will value and honor your energy in the same way you do. When you begin to see your energy as sacred, you become more intentional about how you use it. You start to prioritize quality over quantity in your relationships and commitments. You stop chasing what isn't aligned with your values and start focusing on what truly matters. Recognizing the sacredness of your energy is about honoring yourself, your time, your emotions, your efforts, and your overall well-being. When someone ignores you, the instinct to chase can feel overwhelming, but it's in those moments that your choices define how deeply you honor yourself. Recognizing that your self-worth is non-negotiable empowers you to stand firm, knowing that your value isn't dependent on anyone else's validation. Rejection, while painful, is not an end, it's a redirection toward alignment, growth, and greater opportunities. Authentic connections, built on mutuality, remind us that relationships thrive on shared respect, effort, and reciprocity. And finally, your energy is sacred. Preserving it is not selfish, but a necessary act of self-care and self-respect. By embracing these truths, you reclaim your power and create space for the people and opportunities that genuinely see, value, and celebrate you. When they ignore you, don't chase. Instead, turn inward, honor your worth, and trust that what's truly meant for you will never require you to compromise who you are.